Crime. South Africans have had to get used to managing crimes.
For a long time, South Africa has been synonymous with violent crime, but levels have now reached a 20-year high, from murders to car hijackings. With an election this year, there is little evidence the government has a grip, with many people relying on private security instead of police.
We've had to adjust our lifestyle to be able to accommodate crime as a daily activity. To the point that when we find ourselves traveling internationally, we have to be reminded that there is no crime in those countries. And even when we're reminded, we still are a bit uneasy. We still want to hold onto our phones. When you're walking in Johannesburg and you have to answer your phone, you are taught by everybody around you that you must hold your phone in its entirety. When you're at a restaurant and you're sitting, people jump out of a car. They snatch your phone, jump into the car with a number plate, and they drive off. This is an occurrence that happens almost every day in South Africa. Almost every South African has had their phones snatched. I looked into this. It's a syndicate. They are cruising nicely because the South African police force is doing nothing about it. The Apple iPhone has got a feature called Find My iPhone. This feature enables one to be able to locate their iPhone. Every iPhone that is snatched or stolen in South Africa, it lands up in the same store. You can point at the stores. In Johannesburg, it's the CBD near Park Station. There is a store where every iPhone that is snatched lands up there. When you switch on Find My iPhone and you go to that store, it will say that your iPhone is in that store. It even goes as far as knowing that in that very same store, people have arrived there and found that their iPhones are being sold. Police know about it. There's footage of people that have cars that literally the number plate is blatantly there. Somebody jumps out of the car, they snatch the phone, they get in and they take it to the same shop. Find My iPhone tells you where the shop is. But even when you get there, the police do nothing. This is a syndicate of Pakistanians that are actually in it to steal cell phones. South Africans know about it. Our police force know about it. Yet nothing is being done. When you go out to events in South Africa, instead of people telling you come and have a great time, the first thing they will say to you is put your phone in your underwear. Tourists come to visit. They're leaving the hotel. The first thing the tourist guide will say to them is, don't take any photos out of the car. Keep your window rolled up. This is what crime, organized crime, looks like to a police force that has no distinct path of fixing this. When I asked about the feature, Find My iPhone, to policemen, to try and explain to them how this feature works and how you can prove that the phone belongs to you because of Find My iPhone. Many of them, their response was, open up a police case and the detective will investigate. Many of these police cases don't even get investigated, to the point where South Africans have even given up on explaining or reporting cell phone theft. The adage is, I'm here to report a police case for my lost phone, not so you can recover it, so I can claim from insurance. Because they already know that nothing will happen. It becomes important that we discuss solutions that will fix our policing system in our nation. One of those solutions is making sure that our police force stops reporting to the Minister of Police. Our police force should not be reporting to a politician who comes in and says what he says and they must take instructions from him without actually understanding where these instructions are coming from. We need to start looking at how other police forces are run all around the world and start adopting those principles. Principles where our police force, our hawks, our crime intelligence can begin reporting to Parliament as an institution instead of reporting to an individual as a minister who decides what should be done. We need to start making sure that our crimes start being reported digitally so. In South Africa, the police force doesn't know the type of crimes that are being reported because everything is still written down. The docket is lost is an adage that they use to explain that the crime, or rather the crime that was reported, no longer exists. We must implement digital infrastructure to ensure that our crimes get known and reported properly. If it's the same store that each and every one of us find our iPhones taken to when it is stolen, it means that that store is part of the syndicate. A clear investigation will be able to lead to the arrest and closure of that store and will ensure that these people who are snatching the phones will stop. I asked around, what is the going rate for a snatched phone? It's told it's 8,000. It's told if there are no cracks, it's 10,000. I was told that if it's the latest iPhone, it even goes up to 12,000. If a young person has to get into an Uber, pay 100 rand to the driver, get to the restaurant, snatch an iPhone, run off, and that's 12,000. That young person unfortunately gets addicted to a life of crime. Every day they start snatching. You find that in specific restaurants, they even have signboards when you enter. Do not hold or use your phone near the balcony. It will be snatched. This young person decides to drop out of school and focus on selling stolen phones. Whenever they snatch, they go to the store, they paid cash, they go back, they snatch again. Young people even start going to events, not to go and enjoy the event, to go and look for people that are tipsy, drunk, and they snatch the phones. We are creating an unbearable situation in South Africa by allowing that these things are not addressed. I want to ask you a question as the viewer. How many phones have you gotten stolen from you in South Africa? I want to see in the chat box to see how many of us have been victims to this situation. I've had 3 phones stolen from me. Some of them left miraculously so. Somebody bumped into me, and when I held my pocket, it was gone. I was told that there are even techniques where people study how to bump in such a way that they're able to snatch your phone. These are things that we can fix easily because the syndicate is known, the system is known. After 4 weeks of my phone being snatched and it being in the CBD, me knowing which store it went to, 4 weeks later, after raising much noise and ensuring that that store knows that I'll put them to justice, when I looked on Find My iPhone, the phone was now in India. It had been shipped to go sell parts in that other part of the country, apparently. What we know for sure is that if people are able to ship phones out of the country to India, they are not a small business. They are even at the point where they've moved on to shipping. It's a syndicate that's known and that functions because the policing system is doing nothing about it. We need to ensure that we get rid of the issues that exist in our policing system. The only way to do that is for us to speak up, for us to vote, and for us to start holding the police accountable.